People that don't know Ralph very well say, boy, he's a lucky guy. And that factors into it. Everybody needs a little bit of luck. But it's not luck that's made Ralph a successful entrepreneur. It's a lot of hard work. It's that fire in his belly. It's his experience.
Ralph was always doing a deal. And in Vietnam, in order to get some more security, Ralph got some more souvenirs, went up to Chu Lai and traded all of this war souvenirs off for a minigun. And he brought it back and assembled it on a 50 caliber tripod.
I designed up a mount to mount this minigun on the ground running off a battery. And it worked. The night we was getting ready to test fire it, it was like Sunday night at the movies. All these Navy guys come crawling out of their hooches thinking Phillips is going to blow his head off.
But that's the way Ralph was. He wasn't afraid to step up to the plate and tell it like it was or do what needed to be done.
He was the friendliest kid in the neighborhood. He called on every old person there nearly every day. And it's the wonder he isn't fatter because they always had candy bars.
I taught industrial arts in the Shelby High School from about 1958 to 1962. Ralph came into the machine shop in the middle of his junior year, came in from Attica, and he just took to the machine shop, even though he'd never seen most of this metals equipment. He took to it, just ducked the water.
Their father tried to fix everything that he could. And when he'd be working under the car, there'd be boys on the outside handing him tools.
Well, there's one thing I would never, ever even think of doing, would be to tell my father I was bored.
He had a philosophy that 3 young boys should not have no idle time. So we always had jobs to do and things to do, anything from cleaning bricks, cutting wood. It was always something to do.
I lived on Auburn to start with, and after I was married, second place we lived was in Ralph's backyard. And every day I would see Ralph, and then that one day, of course, when I got home, he was there, and I knew something was bad because of how bad he looked. That was the day that his father got in an accident. Ralph definitely changed after that. Well, he was more determined and more everything. His drive was totally different. Oh, yeah.
On the very early days, the man stuck his head out over a block like that, waiting for somebody to chop it off, and nobody come along and chopped it off. So he took some risks, but that's what it takes to be successful, is taking risks.
If you look back at the time when Ralph got established, I don't think he got a lot of nurturing. And I don't think we had systems in place to do much nurturing, and so he's been successful in spite of maybe the business climate and government.
We run about $24 million in sales on an annual basis, and we have about 100 employees, and most of our employees have been here for long term. We have a lot of employees who have been here 15 to 20, 30 years.
I mean, we're seeing a couple of weeks here where we produced over 2 million feet of tubing in 1 week. 1.3 million was what I'd seen wanted, but we put some incentive bonuses in for uptime. That's helped us.
At one time he had a slogan, tubing around the world. That was probably 10 years ago when we ran enough tubing to go around the world. We can probably do that 2 or 3 times now.
Ralph has always let the company grow on its own. He does not want it to be a big conglomeration, something that he cannot watch over. He always believed in slow growth.
My biggest challenge was when I bought the Armco plant in Middletown. For a small businessman, uneducated, stepping into number 1, a labor union, number 2, corporate America. I never knew so many attorneys, accountants, and plant managers could sit around one table and ask my dumb questions, take forever to get an answer for it in my life.
I helped him purchase the Middletown Tube Works from AK Steel and Kawasaki Steel. And after we had our closing, Ralph took me over to the plant, and he was all dressed up in a three-piece suit. He looked very dapper for Ralph. And he was taking me a tour of the plant and pointing out several pieces of equipment that he was very proud of. And we went up to one piece of equipment, and he asked the guy who was running it, when was the last time this was serviced? And the guy says, oh, we worked on it last week. And Ralph said to me, go amuse yourself somewhere. I'm going to do something here. So he went and he changed into his work outfit, you know, the Ralph and the hard hat. And he came back with a big bag of tools, and he said to that guy, we're going to tear this machine down and take a good look at it. Well, they took the machine apart piece by piece, and they got in there, and Ralph said, look at the brushes on this engine haven't been oiled forever. It looks like they're all rusty. The zerks haven't been greased for a long time. This thing hasn't been worked on for a long time. Well, I don't know whether that guy flew out of that plant or left under his own power, but he was gone. And from that point on, all those people on that shop floor respected Ralph immensely because they knew he wasn't some guy in a three-piece suit. He knew what he was doing.
In 10 months, we turned it around from being in the red to being in the black. We made it work, and then Angela came in a year later to assist.
We've got about 240,000 square foot under roof. We have 10 tube mills currently installed. We're running somewhere between 70 and 100,000, or I'm sorry, 70 and 100 million feet of tube annually.
It was a risk. We put everything on the line for it, but I had the vision of what needed to be done. Armco's sales were 24 million, and in 1995 we went back to 34 million in sales.
He's relentless in his work ethic. He's always, even when he's out hunting, he's working. If he's sitting in a tree stand, he's thinking about a new project for us to do.
His computer in his head works when he's sitting in a tree stand hunting or sitting in the back of the airplane flying. That's when all the ideas come in. As soon as he gets back in, you better have your pen in your hand because he's got all his thoughts on his mind and he has to get them off quick.
The longer he's gone, the bigger the list gets when he comes back. But he's always got something going on. He never stops. If we give a list of ideas, he says, well, try this one here. It's something new we didn't think of. He gives us the tools and the leeway for us to try new things.
From an engineering standpoint, it's great because if you want to do something, I don't have to go to corporate and give presentations to get approval. If Ralph says do it, you do it. And if you fall on your face, he'll come behind you and try and help and make it work.
His knowledge is a great asset to us because he's been around, he's experienced, hands-on with our equipment, and that alone, and then his interaction just as out on the floor, talking to the employees.
Ralph's just like a big father. He will do anything for you. If you need to talk to him about something, you ask him a question, he'll answer it for you. You just want to sit down and talk, he's there.
Everyone takes pride in their position, and we all want to initially please Ralph. Honestly, that is exactly what we all want to do. We know what he expects out of us.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the man blow up or get mad. I mean, I imagine there's been times that he has, but you know, it's never around us or never around any of the employees.
There's things he does for employees that, I mean, no other employer is going to do that. And a lot of it is just because he recognizes that a lot of these young men or young women have challenges ahead of them, and can he help them along and do whatever.
I mean, the guy's done a lot for me in all the years I've been here. So I'm a person that's not able to read and write, and Ralph took me in as a junior out of high school through the work program through school, and he stuck with me, and then he sent me to welding school at nights at Pioneer, and just you know, trained me to be an electrician and right on up, and worked with me the whole time, and been super to me.
He's given me the chance to learn something I've never done, so you know, the more education I get from him is just great for me.
It's amazing some of the stuff that he'll go out and find a piece of old used machinery and turn around, we just make it work. It's just unreal what the man can do.
He loves to go to auctions and buy things, machinery, and then turn around and sell it for a profit, and it's absolutely amazing how he can do that. I mean, it's like everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah, Ralph doesn't want to buy new stuff. To him, he says, yeah, that cost $250,000. I can buy one for $50,000 and pay a guy for a year to work on it. I'm still ahead, and then we can say, hey, look what we got done, you know, or hey, watch how this is done. And then if you tear it up, so what? You know, we can fix it again. So we get to push things kind of to the limit that way.
He will scratch around, use things, make things, whatever, rather than buy something so he can save $1. He works with it, fixes it, and then he'll build a building and give it away. It just, that's pretty interesting stuff to me.
Anybody that knows Ralph Phillips knows that he's a caring person. He's a community guy. I didn't, never realized that until I started working for him. He's very community minded. He wants things to be done the right way.
Dealing with the flooding of the river, trying to keep it cleaned out, that I could see last August as homes were just devastated. That bothered him. He took that very much to heart, that people were hurting and that he needed to be a part of something, of cleaning it up and clearing it to prevent that. He doesn't mind rolling up his sleeves and getting in the dirt, and that's, he's not just always in a suit. He's a guy who gets in and works.
Working here 10 years now, I've seen it. That is the way he works, and it's not just an individual basis, it's the whole community. I mean, he's there all the time. If there's new development or something good going on, he's in the middle of it or heading it up, or something, he's involved somehow. So it's a good thing.
I feel confident that right now we got a housing slump, major industries closing and moving out, but what's the new wave of industry coming on the scene that's going to be done in the United States? More than likely it will be some type of high-tech industry. But Shelby being fortunate to have the Keough Center, for them to have a high-tech industrial park next to it, to assist in the training of their new employees, that's worth a great deal.
Ralph's still Ralph, with or without money. He's never really, as far as I'm concerned, never changed.
He's known everywhere. He is just known, you go to a show, you go anywhere with him, somebody knows him, from the hat and the vest.
I mean, what you see is what you get with him, and that is an individual style, an individual personality, somebody that's not bound by anything. He's not trying to live up to anybody's expectations but his own.
He's a smart man, innovative. I've seen him pull miracles out of junk, he's good at that.
It is a wheel that never stops turning, and it is, if he has a challenge, then he's going to continue to think about it and mull over it until he actually comes up with something.
There's nobody I'd rather have on my negotiating team. There's nobody I'd rather have analyzing a situation than Ralph, because he's going to be real close to being on the mark immediately, and give him another day and he'll have it figured out completely.
He's never had a free lunch in his life. He's worked harder than anyone I know. More hours and more everything. I mean, everyone thinks that, the money just falls on him. He's earned every dime that he's ever got. I mean, he works hard.
He's just very personable, and I think that customers always remember him because he is one of us. He's just down to earth. He's Ralph Phillips.